Chris, thanks. I like your shirt, Chris.
Thanks. I was wondering about you know how you mentioned the child being fed every 3 hours and feeling like they're crying and then they want to give up. How do you get through those giving up feelings to know your grief is actually going to help you?
The only way to get through any feeling is to feel it completely. So, and this is something I keep repeating over and over again, but many still do not understand what that means. Feeling something completely means that you have to actually feel the emotion that's present in that moment. So if the emotion is, I'm angry with God, be angry with God. Be angry with God. Direct all this anger and rage that you have and feel at God. If the emotion is, you're angry with me, then be angry with me. You don't have to come and do it to me because I'll just say, go away, Chris. You need to do it at home, you know, in your privacy of your own house or your own. Be angry with AJ if you feel you're angry with AJ and see where it takes you. But underneath a lot of this stuff is deeper emotions, of course. And the key is if you feel the emotion that's right there, the layer that's right there, and you have a willingness to get below that, you will go very rapidly below it. So I find if I'm ever angry with somebody, 15 seconds and I'm into some grief generally about what that anger is about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've got the problem where I go into the anger and then it just, this big kind of blanket of it's useless kind of comes over me. And
feel it's useless. Just feel it's useless. And actually voice it. This is just useless. I don't know why I'm bothering, I can't get anywhere. And feel that feeling. Just allow yourself to feel that feeling completely. Every feeling that you allow yourself to feel completely will release from you. And you'll know it's released because you don't feel it anymore afterwards. Now many of you have yet to have what I'd call the major emotional breakthrough, which is understanding the peace that comes after something's completely dealt with or dealt with significantly. Because when you deal with an emotion significantly, one of the causal emotions, there's this beautiful feeling of peace afterwards that stays with you often for many days. And while you may have to revisit some of the emotions again because you haven't dealt with all of it, that feeling is present. If the feeling isn't present, then it's because there are blockages to feeling those particular emotions. So for many of us, there's blockages to grief that we don't want to feel through the blockage. So if one blockage to grief is fear, I'm going to have to feel the fear, to actually feel it. So that means shaking and trembling and feeling terrible, actually feeling the fear. And once I start really feeling the fear, I'll actually probably be crying while I'm feeling the fear. It'll feel quite traumatic and shocking, feeling fear. But when you've gone through that, you'll easily get to the grief. We have to feel through every causal emotion. And a lot of our layers on top are emotions that were there from our childhood that we also have to address. Yeah? If we just focus on the effect, which is I'm angry about how my mother treated me, then I'm not going to get very far. I need to feel my anger, but I need to be prepared and willing at the soul level to go deeper. And there's a change that happens in your soul when you're fully desirous of feeling every feeling. And what happens is that there's this willingness inside of you just to go there, no matter what there is. If there is a feeling that you're crazy, you're willing to go there. If there is a feeling that everything's unjust and I hurt terribly because of the injustice, you're willing to go there. And one of the best emotions, one of the best things we can deal with is our unwillingness. If we can deal with our unwillingness, everything else gets a lot smoother. Yeah. And our unwillingness is usually a causal emotion because we are afraid of humiliation, we're afraid of being punished, we're afraid of being hurt more if we cry. How many of you have remembered your mother or father saying to you, if you cry anymore, I will belt you again? How many of you remember that? More than half. that is going to block quite a lot of grief. This fear of being punished again for just even crying. Now, God doesn't feel that way with us, but our parents often do. And it's those blockages that are causal blockages within us. When I say they're causal, they're actually layers over the top of some causal grief that are still within our soul that create further events. And we need to allow ourselves just to feel them. Every time we feel them, they will release. If we don't feel them, they will not release. I know it sounds simple, but as you know, it's quite hard getting to the emotion that is able to be released at times. And I feel that too, you know, like difficulties of getting to certain emotions. Yeah.
Thanks.